Okay, guys, I feel like going on a rant. Thoughts, Alaska rant. All I did today was take out the trash. I don't try to think of the Mandela effect, right? And I've already done a video of this. I did it when I got home. I decided to not check where my reality is, decided to just take a break and Scrabble. And then here, it says on a snap on the way to taking the trash out, if you saw the video before, Alaska is the most northern, most western, and most eastern United States. This is a real fact of the world that I live in. I decided not to check it because really I was still just trying to take a break from the Mandela effect, but I can never take a break. So I put on my rabbit hole glasses because as I'm trying to get out of the rabbit hole that was our reality, I don't think we're in the rabbit hole. I think we're actually trying to get out of the rabbit hole. Is look at all the stuff, or as my Emmy mate says, fuckery. Look at all the fuckery that involves Alaska. Yeah, it involves everything, right? But Alaska is now not only the northernmost state, it is now also the westernmost state. And actually, I don't know if I thought Hawaii was the westernmost state, but maybe I could I could say, for the record, this might be future residue. Alaska is at least one of the two most western states, but Hawaii and Alaska, although I feel like Hawaii was most, but whatever. It most definitely was never, ever, 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 ever listed as the easternmost state. And so, what is it? I looked it up. I finally decided to look it up. So, yes, Alaska is the most eastern state, and the location is Semisopochnoi Island, Alaska. People like Chick and Lone Eagle. You guys probably already know this. I just decided not to care about geography because if Baja California, USA can magically turn into Baja California, Mexico and no longer be part of the United States, well, everything's up for grab. Like, I don't care. South America, those of you who are not awake, for you to say, land masses shift. No, no. In my lifetime, where North America was literally, quote, on top of South America, and now South America, the West Coast is practically no longer even lining up with the East Coast. I haven't even checked it today, but it's just on its way to kissing Africa, to remember that we all came from Pangea. So I told you this was going to be a rant. Okay, Alaska, other things. Alaska to me is related to the North Pole now. Why? Well, after awakening to the Mandela effect, I found out there's no landmass. So today, I'm sorry, I forget who put out a video. Was it U Vault 6? I don't know. You were watching a video where this movie, they had to spend a lot of money to receive the true inheritance of a jillion dollars. So one of the things they wanted to spend money on was, and he pointed to a globe, pointed to where the North Pole was for us, and said, maybe we'll break off a tip of that iceberg and we'll motorboat it on the way to Saudi Arabia because water's so expensive there, so why not take some of that water from that iceberg? So in this movie, guess what? He's pointing to a globe that no longer has any ice masses there. It's just pointing to a blue part of the globe. So there's, phone call. I'm going to decline it because I'm in the middle of a rant. And so now there is no landmass of ice that he's pointing to. He's just pointing to the water. How can you motorboat a chunk of water? How can you ride on top of that? So whatever. So, I was fortunate enough to meet Santa Claus after my awakening of this whole phenomenon. And yes, I realize I've already been experiencing it before. I just dismissed it away with other explanations. But whatever. So Santa Claus, so I thought, if there's no North Pole, no landmass in the compass part of the North Pole. Sorry, my vocabulary's I'm not very educated in all that, whatever, but Santa always had a workshop up North Pole, so I was fortunate enough to speak to him. I woke up in September and I got to speak to him around Thanksgiving because when he's not at the workshop, he's also volunteering here and there. So I was with a child and I asked him, so where's your work? Where do you live when you're not volunteering, or where's your workshop? And his answer was North Pole of Alaska. I know I've already talked about this, but it's part of Alaska. Alaska is now the easternmost part in this, geographically. It's the easternmost part of the United States. It's just bizarre. I don't know how that works with the flat earth, because is the flat earth a scroll? I'm not into researching all this, or if it's a flat earth, are we a scroll? Then that would make sense that that Alaska can be the most easternmost and the most western part. If we're a dome, if we're heart-shaped, petri dishes, whatever. Anyhow, so I've shared this story before, but I'll just go ahead because I found out. Santa Claus's response was that he works out of North Pole of Alaska. So there's four North Pole locations, and we here in the United States are fortunate to be hosts to one of the North Pole's workshops. And of course, then the whole polar bear thing, and I know I'm repeating myself, but in case you're new to my channel, I'll just say it, is when I found out there's no landmass in the North Pole, then I thought, what the heck, where are the polar bears? And granted, I never visited the North Pole, so I don't know that there really was a North Pole before this. It's just I was trusting my teachers, which now we know. I was trusting even tour guides, whatever. So tour guides at museums and aquariums and stuff like that. But anyhow, and zoos. So polar bears used to live in North Pole, but since there's no North Pole, I thought, oh my God, we don't have polar bears in this world. And we do. Wild polar bears also live in Alaska. So Alaska, Marsha, Alaska has the North Pole for Santa Claus, has the polar bears where they live, and I've said before that when I shared this the first time, my friend from Croatia was all worried because she said, well, where are the penguins? I'm like, the South Pole. And she said, well, for her, and she laughed at that because how silly of me to think that penguins lived in the South Pole, but that's what I was taught. And no, I never went to the South Pole either, so you're right. I don't know for sure. And anyhow, so I said, I don't know. I don't know where for me, they were always in the South Pole. And then our friend who was with us, he's from Australia, and he laughed at us because why would penguins only be in the South Pole when they're, of course, in his country, Australia, which, yes, I've done this rant before. Australia is not even a continent. It's a country in a continent called Oceania. So see how Alaska can can make us go crazy. But I'm now, before I read that bottle cap that was literally in my way on the way to taking the trash out, was I living in a world where Alaska was not the easternmost thing? But you know what? The 100th monkey theory? If enough of us read this as and they have it in quotes, real, is it the right way? Sorry. If enough people read this, does it then make it real? Like the Mandela Effect is just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, the North Pole iceberg, whatever. The Mandela Effect, seeing the changes, is just the tip of the iceberg. Those of us who are willing to go deeper, as deep as our knuckles that are no longer on the base of our hands, if those of us who are willing to go further than just noticing logo changes, what does that mean? Does that mean that if enough of us read this as facts, that with the 100th monkey theory, boom, that creates a whole new world, and now we're living in a world? Well, Alaska is the northern and eastern and westernmost state in the United States. If enough of us believe it, doesn't make it true. Just like weather forecasting, it's forecasting a spell. If enough of us read the weather forecast, yesterday, a year ago, 5 years ago in the Farmer's Almanac. If enough of us believe it, oh, like the channel Quantum Conscience. And people, I don't think it's conscience, I think it's quantum conscience, but maybe he pronounces it differently. I don't know. There's a difference between conscious and conscience. And yes, conscience has the word science in it, but whatever. I told you this was a rant because, see, my mind keeps pondering and wondering. And the word Pondr and the word Wondr, you would think on paper, if you see them written on paper, you'd think that they would rhyme. Well, me being a writer, and I love poetry, and I love, it's like my therapy. I'm able to put all my thoughts in a in a word package and then tie it up with the rhythm, which is the ribbon, and then I can put it on a shelf, and then I don't have to think about it anymore. But the words ponder and wonder, they rhyme on paper, but they don't rhyme orally. So, Laurel Yanni, see, this is how I go. And yes, I walk the infinity sign. I walk the figure 8 infinity because I've been on this marathon track forever. And of course, I'm going to wear my my glasses. So anyone who is new to the Mandela Effect, whoa, it's falling. Anyone who is new to the Mandela Effect theory, yes, I look crazy and maybe you feel crazy, but you're not alone in this world we call our home. You and me, we got this, baby. We got this. You're not alone. You're not crazy. I know I look crazy. I sometimes feel crazy, but I'm in a world where Alaska is the easternmost state. All right. Love you. Thanks for listening. Mwah.